everybody. I'm Charlotte Cunningham, and we've got Paul Humphrey here that's joining us today on part 2 of our Finesse for Success. He joined us in November on our Volume 5 to show us a few things to kind of help your horse get better and be a more turny barrel horse. He's going to come back and get more detailed on the turns, because actually your turns are what makes such a good run and cuts the clock off. It's not that you run fast, it's more that you have a better turning horse than anything. Anyway, I'll just kind of run through intro to Paul. He went over to Italy and was a world champion, as well as he's had numerous championships over here in the States. He's about to go back to Italy and spend a month there, so we caught him before he took off, and we're glad to have him, and thanks for coming, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul, tell us what we're going to work on today on making a good turn.
Okay.
Some of the things that you're going to lead up to that.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank Winning Runs and you, Charlotte, for asking me back for a second time. I consider it an honor to be here, to be able to share with the viewers and they are my points. You know, it works for me, but I've helped a lot of people through the years, and I think a lot of people are understanding now the more basic you have to your horse, the more solid they're going to become.
Yeah.
And they can have fun running barrels. It's not like an all-time job to try to get your horse to work.
Right.
So
it's not a yank and pull anymore.
Right, right. It's like, let's just go make a run.
Right.
But there's preparation to that, and that's what I'm going to show today. I'm going to show you a little bit of warm-up, which to me is important, and then I'm going to show how you can lope controlled circles, which to me, again, is important. I mean, in order to have that relaxed, soft horse, you've got to allow that to happen. And so I'm going to show some exercises on the barrels that are going to help you with your placement, where your spot is, so you can go into that spot every time, because these horses learn by repetition.
Yes.
And if we're consistent, they'll be consistent also.
Right. I think that's very important to have. We're finding out a solid foundation and be consistent with your horse. There's two very important things that you have to go to to know how to do that. And that's what Winning Runs is all about, is to share your different opinions. And you know, we thought that Paul had shared some very good opinions on the first one, and people were asking for more, so that's why we brought you back.
I appreciate
that. We'll get started. Paul, you're going to show us some exercises that involve 6 poles, and you're going to show our viewers and step it off to show them exactly if they want to do this at home to prevent some problems and some other stuff and keep your horse controlled and making that good turn. So show us exactly what you wanted to, so the viewers can see exactly where each pole needs to be.
Okay.
And why you set them the way you do.
All right. First of all, what I do is I stand in front of the barrel like this, and I'm going to take one step out. Okay? That gives you where the pole's supposed to be. It's not directly beside the barrel. And I'm going to turn, and I'm going to take 4 pretty good sized steps. And I'm going to set that pole right there. And you want one directly across from it on the other side, same distance apart. And what this is going to allow you to do is, I like to put markers here, because if I'm going to lope a big circle around the barrel, I want it to be in the same place every time.
Right.
I don't want to make a small circle then a big one, unless I want to do that.
Right.
And I've found through the years that if I have markers there, it's just easier for the person to stay in that same
It gives them
area.
something to look at without having to judge.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing, with the poles being here, I know a lot of people, when they approach a barrel, they think they have to get way out here to work their horse. And what they don't understand is, when they get out here, you're almost going to teach that horse to drop their shoulder, because that horse knows it's got to get over there somehow.
Right.
So I like to put my horse in the middle here and teach them to stand up and get up into that turn. Okay?
Gives them something to look, you know, so they don't. I find that when I help people, they get their horse hung out over here, and then he's all flustered.
Right. And
he doesn't know where to go.
Exactly.
And neither do they either.
Right. And that's another thing. It'll help that person come in that same spot every time.
Yeah. And consistency.
Right.
Consistency, consistency.
And that's, like I said before, those horses, they learn and pick up things by us doing stuff repetitiously.
Right.
I mean, and this allows you to do that.
Okay. And you do this on every pole at the same position. Of course, we're going to see that here in just a few minutes.
Yeah, you do it the same way at each barrel. It's the same distance, same everything.
Could they use something besides poles? Like, say they don't have a set of poles, could they use like cones
or some
road cones?
Hey, I've had girls get buckets and put out there. I mean, just something as a marker to show them where they need to go.
Okay.
I like the poles because the horses can see the poles a little bit better.
Right.
You know, I have had them come around and run over the cone or run over the bucket because they just can't see it.
Right.
So I think the poles are better if you have them, but yeah, anything you can find
That'll
around
work.
the house that'll work. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see what Paul has to show us.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to start some barrel work now. And before I start, I'd like to talk a little bit about, I'm really not about fixing problems. I like to think that I have a program that's designed to keep problems from arising. Because to me, if you allow a problem to fester into a big ordeal, then it becomes more of a battle issue than ever a training issue. So my program is designed to teach that horse what to do. I'm going to do some exercises with the poles to kind of manipulate my horse's body around that barrel to get my horse to relax at that spot, because I see so many horses, they'll start off at one speed in the alley, and by the time they get to that barrel, they are just mortally flying and they have no intention of trying to rate down and turn that barrel. And so that's why I think a lot of people have to pull on their horses and jerk on their horses and do a lot of that to make that turn happen. And in the end, the horse is going to win because they're a lot stronger than we are. So I'm going to show you a few things at a trot. I've got 3 different horses here today, and each horse is just at a different stage. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and trot around the barrel, give my horse some room, then I'm going to come around and keep your forward motion going. And I'm going to trot a big circle, and then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to trot that barrel again. I'm going to trot all the way around my turn. I'm going to come right here and I'm going to stop. Okay? Because I want my horse to learn how to drive up under himself in that turn. That's what that big circle is about. I mean, I'm going to allow him to turn the barrel, and then I'm going to go out to that big circle, and then I'm going to come back. Before I leave this area, this is important. Before you leave this area, whatever exercise you do, turn that barrel normally before you leave. Because I want the last thing that horse remembers is that he went in and turned that barrel. Okay, we're going to go to the second one. At the second barrel, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to trot my barrel, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lope my big circle. Okay? And I'm going to lope 2 circles here. Then as I come around, I'm going to loop right up in there. Ooh, and I'm going to stop right here. Okay, I'm right in position to get up into that turn. And then I'm going to walk around this barrel. What that's doing is that's teaching your horse speed control. Okay, that teaches him that, hey, I'm going to run up to that barrel, I'm going to shorten up, and then I'm going to make that turn, then I'm going to speed up and get out of there. That teaches them speed control in that area. Okay, on the third, I'm going to do the same thing. Try to keep your circles even and smooth doing this, like don't go in and out. Come around, whoa, and stop right there at your barrel. And then I'm going to walk around it. And for those of you viewing this, I know you probably think, oh, that's easy, but believe me, it takes a lot of work on your speed control to be able to lope that circle smoothly and come right in there and stop at that barrel.
That's all for today, folks.
Join us next month for a brand new show.
Let's ride through the sunset.
All right, let's do it.